About a month ago, we started on one of my favorite projects yet. It's a Corvette bed powered by a Gixxer 750 motor one of our subscribers gave to us. And over the last couple of weeks, we've been stockpiling parts from Facebook Marketplace. We also partnered with Go Powersports, and they sent us a ton of stuff. So in this episode, we're gonna be getting a lot done, but before we do that, we gotta get the Corvette out of storage, and since we added a roll cage and a whole frame to it, it's super heavy, so this might be a little bit of a challenge. Oh my gosh, dude, this is heavy!
How heavy do you think it is?
It has to weigh about 300 pounds. Oh! That's nice. The cool thing about this build is we built this whole frame so that it slides in and out using the bed frame rails. So the plan is to just disassemble this, take the frame out, build the section where our wheels need to go, and then we can slide everything back in. We'll know it's straight, we'll know it's welded properly, and we won't have to deal with stinky plastic fumes. So a few days ago, I met this really crafty fellow at the bar, and just so happens he had some tires that I think are gonna work perfectly for this Corvette build. They look like little OEM Corvette wheels, and they're just amazing. They're really thick, so I think they're gonna put down the power. Those actually fit pretty well. They're a little taller, but we want this thing to be a bit taller so we don't hit our oil pan, and they're a 4x4 pattern, which fits pretty much every go-kart hub out there. So this is gonna be pretty easy. We're gonna start with the front of this vehicle and work on the steering because that's one of the most complicated parts about this build. We did get a whole bunch of stuff from Go Powersports that's gonna help us out with that, but the first thing I'm gonna do is just make a little reference mark on where we need to add steel. So something like that, and then I'll do the same over on that side. Then we'll pull the frame out and start figuring out how this is all gonna work. I love the way we designed this because you just take the front off, get quick access to our frame, and that's great because that's what we're working on right now. We're gonna make something super strong that holds our wheels. Unfortunately, when we were building this, we didn't look far enough ahead and designed our frame into a square, which makes mounting these wheels a little difficult. So if you take a wheel like this, and it's right up next to the frame, and you go to turn,
That's hitting.
you're not doing spinner wheelies. All you're doing is going fast, really, really straight. So we're gonna have to offset these wheels from the frame with some kind of design that's really strong and holds up to the weight of a Gixxer 750 motor. But I think we can do it. I think we can make it pretty simple, and I think we can make it very strong. For the mounts that hold our wheels onto the frame, we're gonna go with a super simple go-kart setup. I'm thinking we'll just cut 2 bars that come off here. But the problem with that is that wouldn't be very strong. So then we'll come down with an L piece and make a square so that if it wants to go like this, it can't. So technically, with these little bars welded on here like this, we could just take this whole steering assembly and weld it like that and be done with it. That'd be the easy way. I feel like it wouldn't be the strongest way, and I'm pretty sure over time these would bend up, which we don't want that to happen. So we're gonna take a piece of bar, go like this, and then go from that bar back to the other one. That way it can't just fold in on itself. It will be a lot stronger and it will last a lot longer. I want to take a break from today's video and talk about today's sponsor, Carly. Using the Carly scanner is extremely easy. All you gotta do is come down here, plug this little device that is Bluetooth, has no cords, it's really simple, into your OBD2 port, start the car, and then hit connect. Once connected, the Carly app will tell you what car you're in. We're in an A5 from 2022, and it looks like it has some problems. So we'll check that out by hitting diagnostics, and we have a couple of codes. We have an engine code, we have a comfort code, and a brake code. And these are problems that not even the car knows it has. Nothing's on the dash, but Carly's telling us what we need to fix. Along with being an excellent code scanner, Carly also offers a whole bunch of other features like engine live data, which is one of my favorite. If you go to vehicle systems, you can monitor all of the systems in your car. I'm gonna monitor coolant. Let's see if this thing's running hot. We've got the AC cooking. That's a pretty good number right there. Maybe a little bit hot, but it's an Audi, that's to be expected. Carly is dedicated to helping you troubleshoot your car's issues, maintain your car's health, and unlock new exciting features that you didn't even know you had. If you're interested in maintaining your car's health, you can go down to the link in our description and enter code BUM15 to get 15% off your order at Carly today. We got the last bar welded in, and this section of the frame is awesome. It serves two purposes. It protects our oil pan. It also stops all of this stuff from folding in on itself. Now it's time to install our spindles, so let's head over to the table and see what Go Powersports sent us. Go Powersports sent over these really cool spindles. I didn't understand what they were, but now I do, and it means that we're gonna have a slight amount of suspension on the front of this vehicle. I wasn't planning for that, but this setup is really interesting. You basically have a normal spindle, but there's a spring that sits in there like that, which is awesome because it's like a little shock absorber for your wheel while keeping it pretty much like a flat track vehicle, no suspension. So we're gonna assemble these and then we're gonna weld them onto the cart and then we can install our wheels. Oh, we're arming a bomb right now, man.
That is so tight.
That's a lot of force. I got it.
Nice.
That is so cool. The guys over at Go Powersports know what they're doing, man. Needless to say, I don't think those spindles are going anywhere. They are super welded on there and they look super strong. Now it's time to mount these hubs onto our wheels and see if we did everything right or if this thing's gonna start looking like a monster truck. I'm so excited to see what these things look like. They just look so cool. Like, you're telling me people are rolling around with golf carts and these tires and these rims? No way.
They look like retro Corvette rims, kind of.
They really do. Let's see what it looks like on the vehicle, though. Oh, that's a little hard. It's like the perfect size.
It really is.
It really is the perfect size. And that looks strong, and this might be the first vehicle we've ever designed without extreme camber.
That actually looks great.
And it clears everything, and we're able to turn fully. Actually, we left a little room for some improvement. We could even grind this down and get a little more angle. That's good. We'll install the other one, and then we'll start working on our steering, and the steering's pretty interesting, but we'll talk about that in a sec. like you could have a timer on that and it would go for like a long time.
That's a lot different than the mini Jeep.
Yeah, the mini Jeep doesn't spin worth a damn. Go Powersports is coming in clutch with steering options as well. They sent us 2 steering boxes. This one's kind of cool. It's got like an offset steering gear and it's a little bit bigger, but this is the one we used in Big Mike. So we'll play around with that, but before we do that, we gotta get our engine back in to make sure we're gonna clear everything. It looks so much bigger when it's in the machine. Now that we got the engine in, it's time to focus on our steering. And I'm gonna be using this longer gearbox that Go Powersports sent us because I think it's just gonna fit right in the front. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, build some mounts off of it, and it's gonna slide under the engine. And then with some heim joints, we'll come up all the way to this bar and make a steering wheel. We got the Corvette bed off of our frame, and this is looking like a miniature car. Well, it actually is.
It is a miniature car.
It is a miniature car. We also got these tabs welded onto our gearbox, and the plan is to take this gearbox, go under the frame like that, mark the holes, precariously flip this machine up like that, drill through the frame, bolt through the frame, and then that will be good, and we just have to make the linkages that go over to our tires and the linkages that go up to the front. And then we'll have steering. So there is this weird alien noise outside our door. I'll be quiet for a second. Do you hear that?
It kind of quieted down for just...
Yeah, because we're starting to listen to it. But it's been getting increasingly louder. So if you hear something in the background, they're coming for us. The aliens, they're coming for us because we're building such a craft. But I think these parts are going to be super strong. We've got these random little engine bolts, which suspiciously enough came with this engine, and it's almost all the bolts required to rebuild the entire engine. So it makes me a little nervous that someone might have rebuilt this and not put everything back, but we're going to use them anyway. Grade 8, very nice. Go through the frame. Go through this thing. Oh, we drilled these off a little off-center, but that will probably be okay.
Well, it was kind of hard with the position there.
Now that we got our steering box installed, it's time to build some linkages. And Go Powersports was nice enough to send us some, but if you come over here and look at this, it's a little short for this one because it's a wide machine. So we're just gonna cut them in half, use some steel, and lengthen them. We should be good. Check this out. I don't have a steering wheel, but that feels like steering to me.
That looks so cool.
And it adds, like, it's got some serious steering ratio, too.
Yeah, that's good.
Those aren't even adjusted properly, but that's enough to drift.
For sure.
And it seems solid. It also, like, adds this really cool effect because they go up a little bit. I just love it. It looks super awesome. Last night we got a lot of our steering done, but we still don't have a steering wheel. And the way we're gonna achieve that is we're gonna use some heim joints from here, so I'll have to modify this section of the rod that goes under our engine, and then bring it up to here, and that's where we'll mount our steering wheel. And for that, I'm gonna scavenge the other gearbox Go Powersports sent us, and use this spline, so it's all removable and serviceable. So the plan is to have a steering wheel somewhere around here where the driver's gonna be, but this is not gonna cut it. We've got 2 heim joints. This part has a slider, which does get us a little closer, but it's not even close. So we got this 5/8 bar, we've got this 5/8 bearing, and we have a couple of pieces from the extra steering kit that we're gonna weld together and hopefully make a situation that comes all the way up here and allows you to turn this machine. Oh! Dang it! This is like my last shirt that doesn't have a hole in it, dude. There's like this perfect spot on the table where this is gonna line up perfectly and straight. And we don't have a lathe or anything, so we just kind of gotta get it as straight as possible. You don't want your steering stuff to be like out of whack at all, because then you're gonna have a tight spot in the steering, or it's gonna wiggle, or it's gonna do something weird. So gotta take a second, get this piece as straight as I can, and then weld it. And then we'll have splines on there that will connect to there. And then we just gotta work on a bearing system. That's pretty straight, dude.
That is pretty good.
That's bum straight. That's straight enough. That's like perfect.
That is pretty nice.
That's something to work with, and then we can just maybe put like something here as a seat. And figure out where we actually want our steering to be. I'm hoping that we don't have to have like massively long shifter linkages on this vehicle. I just want to use what's on the bike pretty much. So I want to be able to have my feet touch the engine. Okay.
Well, you're there pretty much.
I feel like I'm gonna fall off. And then I feel like this is too high.
Yeah, I think it's too high.
And it puts those heim joints a very precarious. If you look down there, it's like a very intense.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's gonna turn.
No.
So I think we have to have them something like that, and then a bearing down there, and then this bar right here comes out way too far, so it's probably gonna be very jiggly. So we'll have to build some kind of support up here, bearing down there, wheel up here, and then you're in this chill, laid back vibe, drifting.
It looks really comfortable like that.
It's super comfortable, dude. We got our steering column welded up, steering wheel's on, gearbox is connected to the wheels, so this thing should turn. Taylor is behind the wheel.
I'm itching to try it.
Give it the first test, dude. I want to see if it works.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh!
It works. And it is tight.
It looks like we might need an adjustment. Is that full turn on this side?
Yeah. No, we need an adjustment for sure. But that was kind of to be expected. But no, this feels good.
That makes me so happy. That is so cool. Everything's working so well.
It is. It's almost like we're thinking about these things just like a tiny bit more, which is good.
Now that we got our steering figured out, it's time to mount this seat. To mount this seat, we're gonna be using a very interesting mounting situation because we can't weld to these bars because they slide into our Corvette frame. So we're gonna make a floating seat mount that comes off of this bar, connects to this bar, and then this will just not connect to anything else. It will give you that slant that we're looking for, and then we'll build something back here to support the back of the seat, and that should be good. We got our seat brackets welded in, and these things are looking super cool. I also think it's gonna give the seat the right slope to really give you that chill vibe while you're driving. Seat's gonna install like this. Now all we gotta do is drill 4 holes in the seat, drill through those brackets we just made, and bolt this thing down. I don't think that's going anywhere. We've got 4 bolts with lockers on them. This is one of the most solid seating situations we've ever made. Now it's time to try to get in because this isn't a quick disconnect and the seating is a bit cramped. So let's see here.
I think you can wiggle in.
Oh, dude.
That looks comfortable.
That is so premium. Now it's time to move on to the rear axle and figure out how we're gonna get tires on the back of this thing. Now this rear axle can't be just any normal go-kart rear axle. It has to be extremely strong. So we went to our buddies at Alcobra Metal in Spokane and picked up one of the most insane bars I've ever seen. This is DOM. How big is it? Internal diameter?
I think it's 8, is it 1/4 inch wall?
It's 1/4 inch wall DOM. This thing is not gonna bend, and that's great because we're gonna be using all 130 plus horsepower that this engine is producing to do drifts, and we don't want this thing to bend. The only problem with this axle is there's no go-kart hubs like normal go-kart hubs that are gonna fit on this, so we gotta go into some CAD and design something up. We got our hubs, and because this metal is so thick, the plasma cutter actually had a really hard time cutting through this material, so we're gonna have to polish them up with a Dremel and probably a grinder to get it to work. But my idea is to take this tube that fits perfectly over the tube that we're gonna be using for our axle, put it in here, weld it up, and then this will slide over that tube, bolt in, and be a nice little hub for our go-kart. All right, welcome to On the Floor Science with Will. We have 2 pieces that barely fit together, and we're gonna use the power of expansion and contraction. We're gonna heat this one up, we're gonna cool this one down with nitrous, and jam them together, and hopefully they jam all the way down until they hit the floor, and then we'll have our hubs. We'll just have to weld them. I hope this works, because I don't know what else we can really do. Oh, I can already see it expanding, dude.
You can see it?
Yeah, it's getting much bigger.
It's definitely gonna be hot.
It has to be so hot. And then I'm thinking the nitrous will cool this tube down and it will just be a nice fit. Oh, it's working. That actually works pretty well. It's
Really?
flat.
Square?
Yeah, it's square all the way around. This is like the most rudimentary way of making a hub, but it's gonna work. Now we just have to do that all over again.
One more time.
And then we're good.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, let's weld this one, and then we'll start working on the other one.
Start it up.
We got our hubs crafted. It's time to see if they're gonna fit on our axle. Oh ho ho! Dude, that's one of the best fitment things that we've ever built. And it looks very straight for not being made on a lathe. And being jankily crafted, that's quite nice. Now, it's time to figure out how to get this axle on our go-kart. To mount our axle, we're gonna be using this ginormous pillow block that we got from Farmer Supply. And we're gonna be using these brackets that we cut out. We'll just weld them right there like that. This will bolt on there like this. And then we can slide our axle through, bolt on our wheels, and this thing will be actually a real thing. It won't be on a jack anymore. That's gonna be super cool. We just learned a very valuable lesson on not welding something fully, strongly welded onto the frame until you know it's exactly where it needs to be. And this is a huge case of that. We welded these here, but they actually need to be like right here to line up with the Corvette wheel wells. So we're gonna have to cut them off and start again. Our bearing holders are welded in and our axle is ready to go. But before we put our axle in, I want to focus on a brake system. And for the brake system, I want to use the original Gixxer 750 rear brake. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to supply a ton of braking force. So while we were cutting everything out on the Arc Droid, I also cut out this little thing. And it's just an adapter. It fits in here. It's going to weld to this, and then this will sleeve to our axle. And we'll have a Gixxer 750 rear brake. All right, we got our brake and brake adapter ready to go. I'm actually really happy with how these sleeves are turning out. I think they're gonna work really well. Now, we just gotta put it on here and it's going to be a bit of a challenge because when you slam these pieces of metal together, they kind of tighten just barely, and this is such a close clearance that we'll probably have to hammer it on. So we're going to assemble the whole axle outside of our machine and then install it. Oh, I don't know if this is going to fit on there. All right, we're fully committed now. Yeah. I accidentally jammed it on a little too far, and now it only goes one direction, and that's down. So we'll get it kind of where we need to go, and then put the bearings on, and hopefully everything works out. And hopefully it doesn't stop moving down the shaft.
Will it go on smoothly?
I don't know. This is usually a troublesome situation. Shoo! Before we go installing our hubs, we need to install our lugs, and we designed this perfectly in CAD so that that fits in there, and this wide section is going to hammer in so that when we go to tighten down the wheel, it doesn't spin, because that's super annoying. So let's install these and then get these hubs on our newly made axle. We got our hubs on, and this was a big pain to do because we had to drill through all of this metal, but we've got 2 grade 8 bolts here. That makes all of this removable, which is super cool. Now it's time to put our tires on and see if we did everything right, or if we've got a really weird stance where these tires are way out or way in. Let's do it. Well, our lug nuts are lining up.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Perfectly.
This is going on so easy. I don't want to jinx ourselves, but I think we might have done it. Oh! Yo! That is so sweet.
They actually look like really good.
They line up.
They do.
Let's set it on the ground. I gotta see this. Oh my gosh, it's on 4 wheels. I thought this would never happen.
I know.
What's it feel like? Oh, yo! It's a car. It's a little car.
We basically just built a Miata frame.
It's about the size of a Miata. This is huge.
It's massive.
Yo, this is a magical experience, especially because it's like 2 in the morning and we've been in the shop since 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's been an absolute scent, but it's totally worth it. This is just insanely cool, dude. This is amazing.
That is so cool.
All right. Well, we're going to get some sleep, and in the morning, we'll install the bed frame, and it's going to start looking like a real Corvette. We're all rested up, and it's time to install our bed frame and start making this thing look like a real Corvette. But before we do that, I'm going to weld the whole frame together because right now it's just tack welded, and this thing is getting transported somewhere very special next week. You'll find out in next week's video. I can't tell you right now because it's a very special surprise. Let's weld this frame. Okay, we got the frame all welded up, and now it's time to start fitting our body, which I think putting it on is gonna be very easy. I think fine-tuning it to look good might be a little difficult, but here's the plan. We're gonna simply start by cutting out the original wheel wells. I know that the wheels are gonna come up somewhere around here, but I don't wanna cut too much material because plastic is super hard to work with. So we'll just cut out this area, try to slide it onto our body, see what happens, and then start cutting plastic from that point on. To begin fitting this Corvette body up to our custom go-kart frame, we're gonna split it in half. This will make it way easier to work on in our tiny shop. It will also give us templates because when we cut off one section, we can trace it onto the other side, making this process way easier. We got enough plastic cut out of this body to fit it up to our go-kart frame and see what we're gonna be working with when it comes to clearance. I'm hoping that the wheels don't stick up somewhere weird above the window because we're really restricted on where this can go. So we'll put it on, see what it looks like, and then go from there. Oh man, what the devil? Does that fit perfectly?
No way it fits like underneath.
No way. No way! Oh my gosh. Does it work on the front?
It looks like it's going to, actually. Maybe a little tighter.
Oh my gosh.
No way.
Shoo! That's gonna require the most minimalist of cutting we've ever had to do.
Yeah, it's wide.
That looks crazy. This body is fitting up way better than I could have ever imagined. We're actually gonna only have to cut a little bit. We are scrubbing right here, but the body is where it needs to be. So I'm just gonna take a marker, make a mark, cut a little bit out of the wheel well so that we can turn our wheels when this is all like connected together. But other than that, back's gonna need a little bit of an adjustment, but that is looking mint. You couldn't even fit a crock in those gaps. You could probably not even fit a piece of paper in those gaps. And since we don't have suspension, we don't need any more travel than that. We'll just cut it out so it's not rubbing, and we'll be good. Alright, with those final cuts, I feel like this is very close to being exactly how it's going to be when everything is assembled. So we're going to move on to the other side and do the exact same thing. This little car is really coming together. The last piece we need to add is the front nose of the Corvette. It's really gonna make it look like a little car. I also think it's gonna be the hardest part because we have to replicate the cuts on the front to the cuts on the bumper, which might be a little difficult, but with enough work, I think it's gonna work out. Oh, that's so satisfying.
It's the biggest chunk of plastic taken off it.
Weight reduction. Now we gotta see if this is even gonna fit. Or if we cut it like totally wrong. I'm so nervous. It's much easier to get on now.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's all floppy and easy.
Wow, dude, look at this. You did that almost perfectly.
Yo, that is looking incredible. I think we get the tires on, make sure it can steer. It might need some modification to the front so that when the wheels tuck in, they don't hit this bumper. We're also gonna have to figure out some way to make that a little less wiggly because right now it's kind of crazy, but that is looking pretty sweet. That's it for this video. I'm so excited with what we got done. We have a Corvette bed strapped to the best go-kart Bum has ever built with some amazing steering thanks to Go Power Sports. This thing is getting extremely close to driving. In the next episode, you're gonna see this rolling down the road, hopefully, if we can get everything done. And we're not even gonna be in this location. We're going to somewhere completely new. I can't tell you about it, but stay tuned till next week, and we'll catch you next time.